Hey everyone, I'm Dan Richardson, and look, welcome to our first edition of our LEA rental show, a show we've designed specifically for our landlords in order to just provide a bit more information to you about what's going on in the rental market. So what we'll be doing on a monthly basis around the end of the month is just providing you with some information relevant to what's going on in the current market, and also answering any questions that any of you do have. So it's pretty informal. We'll try to provide you with as much information and value as possible. Let's not waste any further time, and we'll get on with the first show. Okay, so thanks for taking the time out of your day to have a look. We'll address a couple of issues that the market's been facing in just a moment. And the first one of those is obviously what's going on with the recent decline in rents. Numbers have come out today, and there's been another decline in the month of July of 0.2% drop in Adelaide rents. What does this mean for property owners, and obviously how does it affect and why is it occurring? Firstly, why is it occurring? The reason being is that investors are still buying a large amount of property, and that is increasing the number of rental properties available on the market. We're noticing a lot of interest from interstate companies. Interstate buyer agencies are buying up a lot of premium property in blue chip suburbs in South Australia, which is giving renters effectively more options. Secondly, it's also due to the fact that a lot of money is cheap and the interest rates are low. We'll get onto that a bit more in just a moment. But money is cheap, so a lot of renters are actually foregoing renewing their leases to purchase their first homes. There's been a 1.7% drop in unit prices across the state in the last 12 months, and what we're noticing is people are buying properties. So that is one of the reasons why there has been a decline in rents. But look, it's still a really excellent investment you can have. You know, property value does increase. We've been fortunate enough to have good capital growth in the last 12 months for housing. Overall 0.9% in the last 12 months. So there's been reasonable capital growth, just downward pressure on rents. So look, a couple of things that you as an owner can do to maximise your rental and obviously maintain. I think there's three phases of any rental market which you need to look at. It's either a renter's market, a landlord's market, or where you need to maintain. Right now, I think it's sitting right about in the middle, slightly leaning towards being in favour of the tenants. So the best way that you can obviously keep your tenant in there, because we all know that having a tenant in there for a longer term is much better for your cash flow, etc. So number one, rent rises should be done so under the advice of your property manager. Please listen to them. They're at the coalface of this, and they see what tenants are talking about, see what tenants are saying. So take your property manager's advice on whether or not to raise the rent. A lot of common misconception is that you can just keep putting rent up. That's been the case in the past, but with a lot of options on the market, a $5 or $10 rise here can cost you in the long run by losing a tenant. And $5 or $10 a week over the course of a year is $500. If you keep a tenant in your property for a couple of weeks longer, you make that money back. So just seek advice on any potential rent rises. Number two, stay on top of your maintenance. If a tenant requests maintenance, make sure that the property manager can attend to it. And basic stuff. Majority of landlords across the board in the state are excellent, but it's the little things: plumbing, hot water, power, cooking, gas. All those things are the things that affect their, their standing or their want to stay in a property. But very, very importantly, make sure you listen to your property manager. If you obviously need any advice, or you've got any concerns about your rent or about your ongoing tenancy that's currently in your property, you can contact either myself or Felicia, rentals@leadestateagents.com.au, with any questions, or you can call our office at any stage. But at this point, we're stressing the fact to just maintain stability. If you are looking at selling your rental property at this moment, as I said, we've had pretty good growth in the last 12 months on property, considering what we've been going through. economically. So I hope that answers a few questions there for you. Secondly, is a question I've been asked a lot lately, and that is how are interest rates affecting the property market and affecting values? In relation to rentals, what it's doing is it's drawing tenants out of properties. So it's making tenants, especially first home buyers, purchase their first home because money is cheap. You can get, what was costing a mortgage that was costing $4,000 a month 6 years ago is now costing about $2,900 a month. So money is much cheaper. It's drawing tenants out. But as far as the concerns that the drop in interest rates to a record low, it's at a record low now, 1.5% from the Reserve Bank last Tuesday, is that the property market will be affected by way of being overstimulated. Now, we've had record low interest rates for some time now, and we haven't noticed, especially in South Australia, any overstimulation. As I said, it's been pretty stable interest rates over the last 12 months to the end of July, where it's been at 1.75, but we haven't really noticed any major fluctuation. As I said, property prices have risen 0.9%, unit prices have fallen 1.7% across the board. So as far as how's that going to affect things in the next 12 months or the next 6 months, we'll probably see that trend continuing, where you'll probably see house prices remain very steady and you'll see unit prices probably continue to fall marginally, and one of the main reasons behind that is due to the oversupply and the massive new construction going on in the Adelaide CBD, which is creating hundreds and thousands of new dwellings in new big multi-apartment buildings. So that's what's driving downward pressure on those. If you do have an established city apartment, you might want to check what your current value is and get an appraisal on that, just to know where you sit, because if you did purchase in the last 2-3 years, your chances are you probably haven't realised any capital growth in that property at this stage. But as far as how are the current interest rates going to affect the property market in the next 6 to 12 months, I wouldn't see anything really changing from what it is now. Probably upward trends in houses and evening out or plateauing from a downward trend in units. So look, I hope that's been really helpful to you. We'll try and bring you some useful, helpful information every single month around the same time each month in a nice tidy little report. If you do have any specific questions that you would like answers or information, please feel free to email them to me at daniel@leadestateagents.com.au, and I'll be happy to try and answer those on the next show. It'll give me a bit of time to make sure I'm researching and getting the information right for you, or you can obviously email Felicia. But if you've got any questions about your property at all, once again, we're here for you. I thank you for your time and watching, and we'll speak to you next month.